Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today is Casing Tuesday. So, in a moment, we're going to take a card out of the catalog and give it a makeover, as we do every Tuesday. And if you're new to this, I would invite you to join us on our Facebook group where everyone can share their cards. I'll share my card later today, and then you as well can play along because we take a card out of the catalog and basically we give it a makeover. So while I wait for a few of you to join me live, I'll just do a little chit chat. And it is about 2 weeks out from Christmas. And next Tuesday, I will be up in Canada. We are heading to see my husband's parents and our son, who's up there right now. And so we will be up there for a week, which means that I'm going to do the next two Tuesdays. I won't be going live, and I will be back at the very first Tuesday in January, and that's when I'll be going live again. I will be doing a live this Friday at my usual time, and then I'll be taking a little bit of a break from my lives at the last part of December, and then I'll be back to my normal schedule again starting in January. I will be posting cards though, so watch for those. And if you are part of my email list, you will also be seeing those coming through on your emails. I just won't be doing the lives next week for the next 2 weeks. And I love doing the lives, and I will be back doing them in January. So I'm glad I have a few of you on here, and I'll talk to you afterwards. So let me show you what today's card looks like. Let me pull it up here. Okay, here it is. And it is kind of, I think it's actually, this particular card is actually a card size that we normally don't make. It's a little bit different of a size than usual. So I actually turned my card into a slimline card. But if you want to make yours in a more traditional sizing, this is the dimensions that you could use to kind of give you a guide on how to create the card. I just stretched mine out even further from this original one. I just made it a little longer so I could fit all of the things that I wanted to on the card. But you can take this card, and it's basically you're giving it a makeover. So this is your starting point, and then you can have fun with creating your own card with it. And you are welcome to use the stamp set on the original card or the bundle on the original card, but you can use whatever bundle you want to create your card. So it's kind of a fun challenge. I always enjoy it. So yesterday when I was creating, let me switch over to my other camera. Yesterday when I was creating, I saw the three cookies, the gingerbread cookies, and I thought I've got 3 spots on here, and I started with the Peaceful Deer bundle, and I just thought it kind of would be fun to kind of create the feeling of a Santa's sleigh. The sleigh is off here on the side somewhere, but the rest of the reindeer are kind of lined up 2 by 2, and I thought that's kind of a fun look for a card, especially on a long, skinny card. This card would fit in a size 10 envelope. The card front on my card measures 8.5 by 4 inches, so it will fit in a size 10 envelope. That's a lot of times old school when we used to get bills in the mail. Maybe you still get bills in the mail if you haven't gone paperless yet. That's the size that you should be looking for this size card. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this card, and I use the Peaceful Deer bundle, and this bundle has been out of stock for many, many months, and it finally came in stock a few weeks ago, and it is currently available. I looked it up today, and so this is a great little bundle, and I will mention that in the new mini catalog, we have a new stamp set that matches this punch here. So there's something else coming up that will match this punch. So that's kind of cool. And remember, when you buy them together as a bundle, you can save 10%, the stamp set and the punch together. So that's always great. All right, let's get started. And probably the thing that stands out most on the card are the deer. So let's start with the deer because I want to show you how I made those. So I'm just taking a piece of scrap crumb cake cardstock and my early espresso ink pad. And let me just make sure I'm in the screen here. And I'm going to ink this up. I'm just tapping on my piece. I cut this about 1 3/4 inches wide because it fits nicely into the punch then. So I just orient my deer so it fits on here. And then I have to do 6 of these. So I'm going to do a few on here. I'm going to do 2 on here, and I've actually pre-stamped some of my other deer so I don't have to do all 6 on camera. But I try and do kind of 2 at a time. So actually this piece of cardstock, if you want to be precise, this one measures 5.5 by 1 3/4 inches, but you can use whatever scrap you have on hand. You don't have to use that exact size. All right, so let me grab my deer punch. And with this punch, it's got antlers, it's got a nose or an eye circle right there. So it is hard to punch through when you're holding it up like this because it's got a lot of pieces to it. So the best thing for this punch I found is to lay it on a flat surface and to stand up. And then I'm going to feed my strip in from the side, and you can press it down part way and that kind of clamps it in place without punching it all the way through. So I'm just taking a moment to align it, and when I like it, I'll take both heels of my hand and punch through. And then I have a perfect little deer that took me very little time to create. And so I'll do the same with the other one. And I just clamp it just a little bit, move it. In particular, I want to make sure the head is positioned correctly because that needs to look good. And there is my second deer. And then I just tap out all the little shrapnel pieces, and then I'll scoop them up and throw them into my garbage. Okay, so now I want to create little collars for my deer, and I'll show you how I did that. And I left my trimmer across the room, so let me grab that. My trimmer gets quite a bit of a workout from one workstation to the other. And actually our trimmer right now is on back order. It will be back in stock in January, but when it's back in stock, I really love this trimmer, even if it isn't your main trimmer, because you can do some nice little cutouts with it when you're doing fancy fold cards. It's just a great trimmer. Okay, so this little strip of cardstock, it doesn't matter how long it is, just make it long enough so you have something to hang on to. And it is 3/8 of an inch wide. So I'll put the long side up at the top. And actually I'm gonna see, I wanna cut off about 1/8 of an inch each time. So I'm actually going to line it up. There's a kind of a piece that sticks out here. Here's my cutting groove. So if I match that corner right there with that little thing that's sticking out, I can start to cut little tiny segments. And these are going to be little collars for my deer. So I'll need 6 of them. I've already pre-done some of them, so let's just scoot out 3. So you just cut out as many as you need, and it's nice if you're making a lot of these cards, just cut yourself a long strip and then just keep going and cutting all of those little tiny strips off of the main strip. And we've got the deer here, got my glue here, and I find it easier to put the glue on the deer than on the tiny strip. So I just take a little glue, put it across the neck of the deer, and then I'm just gonna add my little collar on there. Because I want them to look like Santa's reindeer, that's why I'm putting a collar on them. All right, so I've got 2 reindeer all ready. And let me grab my other reindeer here. So I made some earlier just so you wouldn't have to watch me make 6 reindeer total. And so that's what you'll need for the card. And we'll deal with those in just a second. So you can just scoot those aside. And now I want to create a background for the reindeer, because what I noticed after I had laid out my reindeer is that the card looked very stark white, because this is a big white area if it just has the reindeer on it. So to break up that area, I thought I'd stamp some trees, some really subtle light trees that wouldn't take away from the reindeer in the foreground. So I grabbed let me put this ink pad away before I get inky fingers. I grabbed my soft seafoam ink pad, and I love this color because it's so light and soft and subtle. And I'm going to grab my tree, and we're just going to create a background with stamped on and stamped off little trees. I like to put my tree on an angle like this because I can see better around all the different sides. So I know it's kind of an awkward, I could put it straight up and down, but I get a better visual in my block if it's angled like this. So we're going to start up over on the left side, and we're going to stamp a tree full strength in the bottom corner, and then we're going to move up a bit and over and stamp it off. Okay, so it's very subtle, and then we're going to keep going. And we don't want to create like stamp like kind of a pattern that's too contrived. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. So next one, I'm going to come in here, and I want to put this one at a different height a little bit. And then I'm going to come over here and leave a gap and then stamp off right here. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here, stamp a full strength tree, and then come here and stamp off this one. So you can see I've kind of broken up the pattern a bit and made it a little bit more random, because that way it looks better. And then I'll put this one maybe right here. Oh, and then let's stamp off one right here. And then just 2 more full strength. And let's do 1 more full strength. Maybe right there. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Just a really great little background for our deer. And it's just kind of got some subtle light greens. That's why I like this particular ink pad, because it starts off with a very light ink. Okay, so now we can start to bring our deer together. And what I like to do is I like to glue them together in pairs. So you want to kind of just align them on here. And so find a position that you like for your deer pairs. And then I'll just put a little tombow on the back of the upper deer. And then I'll just kind of bring them together. I want to make sure that the full collar is seen on both of them, because I'm going to put a little jewel on both of these. So once you've got one that you like that is aligned, take the next pair and line them up on top. So I'll take the back deer and line it up with the back deer. And then I'll take my foreground deer, put a little tombow on the back there. And now I'm going to line this up on here like that. And so now all my deer will have kind of the same layout, and I won't have to figure it out each time. Okay, so that little pair is done. And now we're going to align this one. Lots of legs to line up here. Okay. The lining up process is like, to me, is a harder thing because you want it to look good. And so that's why once you've got one of them that you like the alignment of, all you have to do is just copy the same alignment. Okay, so now you've got deer pairs and they're kind of together, so you can kind of just maneuver them. I want to make sure that I leave room right here in the center for my greeting. It's going to come up a little bit. So let's glue the first deer pair on here. I'm not even putting Tombow on the legs. I'm just kind of more concerned with the upper part of the body. Okay, and then we can, I want to shift this just a little bit. Okay, I'm changing my mind. Okay, all right, and then we'll do this one. And then finally we'll do this one. You can decide how you're going to angle them. All right, so all my deer are down and we want to add the greeting, but let's get everything glued down onto the card first because that's kind of the last thing that goes on there. So for our card base, I start off with a piece of 8.5 by 8 inch cardstock, and then on the 8-inch side, I scored it at the 4-inch mark. So the front of the card measures 8.5 by 4 inches, and that's the size paper that I used. And I looked to see what paper we still have available because a lot of it has already sold out, but we still have this fabulous Sweet Stockings paper. And the nice thing about this paper is it's got these cute stockinged animals and just animals in general. Like, look at these cute little animals on the one side. And then on the back sides, we have all these nice neutral patterns. So whether you need a neutral Christmas pattern or if you need a fun animal Christmas pattern, you've got both covered. So I took this pattern here, and on the back side of this, we've got these cute Yorkies and kitties, but on this side, we've got this nice green Christmassy diagonal. So I wanted to go neutral, and this piece measures the same as the card front, so it's 8.5 by 4 inches. And I'll just put some Tombow on here on the outside. Just a light bead of glue and maybe just a little in the center. And then we'll come in and just line that up and smooth it down. All right, then we're going to take this piece right here and we're going to make sure we glue it so that the cardstock has the same distance on this side, the top, and the other side. We'll have a little bit more down here at the bottom. Come on, glue. And then we'll just flip this around. And I'm just kind of measuring the distance to see. Looks good. Press that down. All right, so the last thing we need to do is our little greeting. So I'm going to use the Banner's Pick-a-Punch, and I'm going to use a few pieces of cardstock. So let's start off with the back piece. We're going to have a gold piece, and it's going to have this banner punch. So this piece measures, oh my gosh, I think I think it's 4.5. Let me double check. Let me double check my measurements. I put them on my blog post all the time, but I changed it around from the original. Okay, so I'll tell you all the sizes. This gold foiled piece is 4.5 by 1/2 inch. This real red piece is 3 3¾ by 3/4. And this soft seafoam piece is 3 inches by 1/2 inch. Okay, now that we've got those figured out, I'm going to take the gold banner. Let me open up my punch. And I'm going to use this one to create the little banner ends. So just stick it in, punch, stick it in, punch. That's the back one. Then we're going to do the real red piece. And I have a little trick with this one. You put it in the 3/4 inch slot, and punch, and punch. Okay. Oh, that didn't go in all the way. Okay, that might have actually created one that is shorter. Shoot. All right, what was my measurement on that one? Let me see. I'm gonna click on here. I need to redo that because it's gonna be too short. 3¼ by, okay. If I didn't want it to look a certain way, I wouldn't care, but I didn't stick it in all the way, so I don't like that. So let me stick this one all the way. Oh, yeah, that's the right punch. This one, and then make sure this one's all the way to the back, okay? You want it to look like a banner, and then you're going to take your scissors, and I want to create this slanted look. And it's neat if you can have help on how to create the slant if you're a perfectionist. So now I'm just going to take this line right here, and I'm going to cut along it. And then I'm going to do the same for the opposite end. And now you have a perfectly slant angled piece. Okay, that will fit on here. And then we're going to, the last one, we're going to do this pointy banner end, and we're going to stick this one, and we'll make sure we go all the way down in. And we'll do the same for the other side. All right, come on. You are stuck in there. Oh, come on. Out you come. All right. So that is how I use the banner pick a punch, banners pick a punch 3 times over to create exactly what I want. Okay. I need to turn that off. Sorry, my phone beeped. All right, so now I'm going to take Evening Evergreen and ink pad and my Merry Christmas stamp, and I'm going to stamp right on top of the soft seafoam. And then we're going to, look at that, I have a green finger. I hit it when I closed it. Oh, that is not very pretty. And it won't be very pretty if I get it on my project. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little banner and adhere it to my red banner. And really, I'm just going to make sure that it looks straight. Okay, that looks straight. All right, and then I'm going to adhere the red banner, put some tombow right down the center, to my gold banner. Just kind of center that up. And tip it towards myself so I can really make sure that it looks straight. All right, good enough. All right, and then I'm going to add this to the front right here. Okay, so the year our son graduated, we traveled to London, England. We let our son, we went on the Stampin' Up trip, but the week before that, it was a trip, a Greek Isles cruise. But we said for a graduation present, we would let our son pick a place to go, and in Europe, and he decided he wanted to see London. And so we stayed at a place called the Good Enough Club, and we've had all manner of jokes after that. There was actually a person, it was named after a person called Good Enough. But now it's always like, oh, well, that hotel is good enough, or that place is good enough. It's just kind of an ongoing standing joke in our family, so it's kind of funny. Anyway, that's why I was saying it's good enough. My banner is good enough, and I'm not going to fuss over it anymore, except a little bit more. All right, so the last thing that you can do to make your card a little bit pretty is to add some rhinestone jewels. And let me grab take a pick tool. So I'm just going to take a champagne jewel, and these are, they're called champagne rhinestone jewels. I'll take the smallest ones and put them on there. I'm going to take a slightly bigger one and put them here, and I ran out of the jewels, so I'll just open up another package. As soon as I get down low on one package of jewels, I'll buy the next package, because sometimes you use up the sizes unequally. So like I have some of these sizes left, but I need some smaller ones. So then I'm going to take 2 more of the smaller jewels and put them right on the top. And that just basically finishes off the card with a little bit of bling. And there are the little reindeer. And I just love, love, love the way this card turned out. It just looks like so much fun with the reindeer and the trees in the background. And yeah, I hope you like that. And it's a great way to use the reindeer punch, because normally if you had to die cut those deer, then you have to take it over to the die cut machine and roll it through. But with this little punch and the stamp, you can stamp a whole bunch of deer in a row, punch them all very quickly, and then you can use them to create this nice little scene right here. So that is what punches are good for quick stuff. So let me come back to you guys. Hello. All right, I hope you like that card. I haven't been able to use that bundle for a long time because it was unavailable, and I didn't want to use something that you couldn't get if you wanted it. So we don't have very many people on here today, and I think that's because we're getting closer to the holidays and everyone is stressed out and not able to spend time crafting. But for all of those of you who are here, I'm so grateful to you, and I'm glad that you're here. Just a quick thing, if you want to buy the Peaceful Deer bundle and you spend just a little bit more to get your order up to $50, I am giving everyone that orders this month the gingham embossing folder if you use the host code. Where is the little host code? This is the host code for the month. And so if you want that gingham embossing folder, make sure you use that. Spend at least $50. And then you also get to choose one of my free with purchase tutorials. And to get that, you just need to spend at least $15. But if you spend $50, you also will get that tutorial. So I just thought I would mention that. And let's see who's on here. Good morning, Amy and Dee, two of my team members. And Janine is also on here, another one of my team members. Thank you for coming and joining me this morning. You guys are so wonderful. Let's see. Oh, as Amy says, Inky Fingers, wipe on your Simply chamois. That's a really good idea. I never do that. And my chamois actually is wet right there. I guess I'm just not used to doing that, but I will do that next time, Amy. I just can't bring that chamois into view. It is so full of inked images. It's really crazy. Good morning, Judy. So nice to have you here. Oh, are you from British Columbia? From Sook, British Columbia. I don't even know where that is. It's probably, is it on the coast? I'm wanting to think that that area is on the coast. Well, welcome from my home province of British Columbia. I love that. I am a Kelowna girl from the interior of British Columbia. Sook must be a small place, if I haven't heard of it before. Dee said, such a cute card. I don't make the Slimline cards often, but I love the way they turn out. I really like the Deer Punch too. Might have to rethink that and purchase. Yes, and the Deer Punch is carrying over, so that is nice. I don't know how long we're going to have the Deer Punch, but we know that we're going to have it at least a little bit longer, so it's nice that we can still have and use it. And there will be that new stamp set in the Jan to June mini catalog that will coordinate with it, so that's a nice little bonus. Judy says, oh, you're on Vancouver Island, 20 kilometers from Victoria. Oh, how cool. Well, I have definitely been on the island before. And after I get off here, I'm going to look up where you're from because I'm always curious. If I don't know a place, I feel like, wow, I really should know where that place is from. So I have to go look it up. And I hope you guys were okay after that big rainstorm. I heard the island also got hit a little bit with the extra water and mud. So I hope you guys are all okay on the island. All right. Well, have a happy holiday, everyone. And I will be posting cards, but I won't be live next Tuesday if you didn't catch that at the beginning of the video. And I hope to see you all in January. I will be live this Friday, though, so please join me for that. But next Tuesday, I will be up in Canada. So I will be thinking of you guys wherever you are and wishing you a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.